Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You took 2 of my numbers.
I took 2. I'm stingy that way.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, we're good.
Taking them back.
Welcome to Beauty and the Gi, the podcast about Jiu Jitsu and so much more. I'm Jen Eads, a 4-stripe white belt. That felt really good to say.
Great.
Super curious about Jiu Jitsu and all the things.
And I'm AJ Klingerman, a 1-stripe brown belt, obsessed with Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah. Now what do we do?
And done. That's it. That's the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We actually went to Instagram for a Q&A for this episode.
I'm very excited about this. I always get very excited when people actually show up and participate and
ask
engage.
Questions.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys are fantastic.
Yeah, we got some really good questions.
Yeah, we did.
And so we are going to answer some of these questions on Instagram as we're recording this episode. So if you follow us on Instagram, you may have already gotten these answers.
And if you don't follow us, why not? You'll find us there at Beauty and the Gi podcast.
That's right. And there's going to be extra that we don't have on Instagram, but make sure to follow us so that next time we do a Q&A, they can ask questions and get the answers.
Participate.
That's right.
Hang out.
Yeah.
Join the fun.
All right. So our first question was about the picture that I posted with the stripe, you getting the 4-stripe.
Yes.
And they wanted to know what your feelings about it were.
Joy and elation.
4 stripes, a big one.
I know. I was really excited about it. And I got it on my birthday, which just made it that much better.
Yeah, definitely.
To actually get something on my birthday that I felt like I earned, and it wasn't just like, here's presents and stripes.
Yeah, and 4-stripe is a big deal, like on any belt, but it feels like an extra big deal at white belt.
It really does. I feel like I'm just going to enjoy this for as long as I can.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel rushed, like, oh, now I've got to get to my blue belts.
Right.
And initially, I mean, when I started this, 3 years ago, I was like, oh, I could probably be a blue belt by the time I'm 50. Not planning on, a pandemic and shoulder surgery in the mix.
Yeah.
So even just to get that 4th stripe, I was like, okay, there's been progress and things are moving ahead. And yeah, I'm just going to enjoy it.
Yeah, good. And I think you've improved so much in these last few months. Like, I know you've upped your training a little bit, but like, I just feel like you've really hit your stride. Like, you are understanding jiu-jitsu a lot more.
I can feel it even today, like in that one roll that you saw. I recognized what I was doing wrong. I think also too, because I had a great rolling partner.
Yeah.
And he is so slow and just chill. And it's so nice because then I can feel, oh, I gave him too much space there. Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't have given up that underhook maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's finally, I feel like the pieces are slowly starting to come together in my little brain.
Yeah. And that's Donovan. I am so impressed by him.
Oh, I love him.
He can roll it. I mean, he's a white belt.
Yeah.
Like 2-stripe white belt maybe.
Yeah.
And I feel like he can roll with anybody and be at their level. Not, not that he can roll with black belts or whatever, but we have a lot of white and blue belts in that class that are at various levels. And he will roll hard and be very strong with the blue belts.
Yeah.
And he will roll nice and light with the brand new white belts, or, he just is very good at rolling at your level. Better than I've seen a lot of people be able to do.
Oh,
but
yeah.
absolutely better than I've ever seen any white belt guy do.
Yeah. Yeah. He's incredible.
Yeah. Great training partner.
Yeah, for sure.
Another question we got asked on Instagram was what we think it takes to be a blue belt. Like, what do we think a blue belt should need to know?
Well, I'm super curious about this question.
So for us, we have like a fundamentals curriculum, a white to blue belt curriculum. I don't think you have to know everything on that, but you have to have a good idea of it. Know a few sweeps and a few passes. You need to know, a couple takedowns. You need to know how to make a game plan. You need to know some submissions from everywhere. Like, you just need to have a good idea of a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. But I don't expect you to know, like, there's like, I don't know, there's like 400 moves in our fundamentals curriculum, our like white to blue belt curriculum. I don't expect you to know all 400. but mostly recognize each of them, right? Like you've been around long enough that I teach something, you should be like, oh yeah, I think I've learned that before. Let me flip back to my notes, to be able to recognize like, I did not get that detail before. And I think that happens a lot throughout. Like I have purple belts come up to me that are like, you know what? I never thought that move worked, but I was missing that detail.
Exactly.
So, you're going to be missing a lot of the like details, but just having a good idea of a little bit of everything.
I still cannot execute a pendulum sweep, but I recognize it when it's done to me.
I just got hit with a pendulum sweep. That's definitely a hard one. I'm sure we've talked about it before on the podcast, but there was an advanced class that we were doing. So it was all my female blue belts. And we were like, all right, show me a pendulum sweep. Show me a pendulum sweep. And not one girl did it right. And I was just like, oh God, okay, all right.
I don't know what it is about those.
I don't either. It's very interesting. It is like everyone's kryptonite.
Yeah.
But we're going to get you there. Yes. And just, like not making incredible mistakes. Like you're going to make tons of mistakes, obviously. That's going to happen for a while. But like the really obvious ones, like maybe going for an arm bar from guard and attacking the wrong arm. Like that's the direction it's supposed to bend. So having that, like you shouldn't be making those big mistakes when you hit blue belt. And I mean, on occasion you still have brain farts or whatever, but in general, I want you to be able to do that. And honestly, I want you to be able to show some things. Like for me, I'm expecting my blue belts to start being leaders. For the women, that often means like you're being a leader in the women's only classes, because that's also why we offer the advanced class, because it's something extra for you. So I want to see that you're like helping the new people learn how to do the warm-ups or something like that. For the guys, it often means that I'm saying you're safe for our females, our new females to go with. So you need to be able to control yourself and, have good control of your body, have good control of your ego.
All good things.
Yeah. So another question we got asked on Instagram was about dealing with the egos in jiu-jitsu, both ours and others. So I think part of that is dealing with it from your own side. It's being able to not hurt anyone, right? Like not on purpose, because if they're coming after you, not being like, well, okay, well, I'm going to smash you now. I'm going to murder you.
Yeah.
So having good control of your own body is helpful. But just being able to accept defeat and not like throw a fit afterwards or anything. Yeah. Being able to just be a good teammate is a part of it. And I think this is, right now we're talking about our own egos, right? Yes. And I think this should also include being able to sit out when you're injured and not going too hard. Maybe just coming in and drilling instead of rolling. I think that's important. I think, being able to say no to somebody, like this is all on our own ego part. Dealing with other people's egos, again, part of that is being able to say no to a roll, right? So if somebody else has an ego, being able to say, actually, I'm good right now. Because if you know that like there are some people that they're either going to try and murder you, or if you go too hard on them, they're going to be upset. So maybe you just don't roll with that person. And I think it's always like being overly nice is good, right? Like I don't have to feed into their ego. I don't have to, give them a bigger head, but I'm going to be nice. I am going to, I don't know what else to say other than just be nice.
It's like Roadhouse.
It's like Roadhouse. How?
Well, because in Roadhouse, the fabulous 80s movie with Patrick Swayze, for you youngsters that might have missed it the first time around, he's a bouncer at this bar, and he's always like, just be nice.
Yeah.
Even if you're escorting someone out, be nice.
Yeah.
If they try to pick a fight with you, be nice.
Yeah, it helps.
It does. So movie recommendation. I mean, I almost feel like I should save that for the off the mat tip, but it's so good. I'm just going to share it now.
I'm just going to give it to you
Roadhouse.
But yeah, like being nice helps with other people's egos. And I think this goes for your own ego. Don't coach at your belt level, right? And that goes for other people's ego too. Like if I'm trying to coach you at or above my belt level, then there's an ego problem there, right? So don't do that. So like if I am a lower rank and I have an ego, I'm not going to coach somebody higher than me. Or if they have an ego, I'm never going to be like, actually, I think that you should be there. Or, I think you should do this. Like, let the coach do it. Let the coach take care of it. Maybe ask the coach to come over like, hey, can you watch us? I don't know, something feels wrong. That's a good way to address it without correcting them yourself.
Yeah. So. Or sometimes I will share, like if something felt tight or like if something felt good or if it felt like, no, like I could still move around. Like, I don't know how to fix it, but that's how it felt.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's very helpful. Or if you noticed a little detail or something, I'm just talking about more like when you're trying to like fix somebody's, it just gets rough a little bit sometimes. And I think that's when egos kind of rear up where you're like, you don't know more than me. I'm the same level as you, that can be a touchy subject a little bit.
Yeah.
So just call the coach over. They can help.
Oh, yeah.
And your partner. Like if you train with the same partner a lot, then they're probably used to feedback. Like you have a good relationship. But if you're with somebody that has an ego, or maybe you have an ego and don't recognize it, just be careful of that.
Yeah. Good, solid advice.
Somebody asked what our favorite jiu-jitsu gear to wear was, or the benefits of jiu-jitsu for mental health. Those are big differences. What's your favorite kind of gear to wear?
For gis, it's Fuji, because I just straight up have a Fuji booty.
Yeah, same. I Fuji booty.
Yep.
I think female Fuji cut gis are one of the best for my booty too, for sure. Yeah. Obviously, my other favorite is role model stuff. Like I love all my role model rash guards so much. I really like my role model gis too. So definitely the role model stuff.
Yeah.
So somebody wanted to know how much the role model rash guards were too. The role model rash guards all run, I think, $40.
And where can they get them?
They can get them at rolemodelswanted.com. So the other half of that question was mental health for BJJ, like how it helps. What would you say to that?
I can only speak to my own experience with that.
Yeah.
But it's so helpful from the community standpoint, from, I think, being able to express whatever emotions or feeling that I'm having in my body. Like I can go kind of work through that, and it's incredibly helpful. I know that I'm a much better person when I've been to jiu-jitsu 3 or 4 times during the week, because it just feels like it would be so easy just to hang on to all of that. Because, like at least in yoga, they say like your emotions live in your body. And a lot of times I just need to get them out of my body and out of my way and mostly out of my head.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I find that it helps me a lot.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good stress reliever.
For sure.
I think of Elle Woods saying, exercise releases endorphins. Endorphins make people happy, and happy people don't kill their husbands or wives.
We're hitting all the movies today, aren't we?
Yeah, if you haven't seen Legally Blonde. But yeah, I mean, like it's a very good stress reliever. I think it's good from a body image standpoint too. I stopped caring as much what my body looked like because I knew what my body could do.
Right.
And that felt good. And I think that's important for anyone, but especially for young women, teenage girls. Also, yes, I can only really speak to my own or how much it helps me with mental health. But I've also seen a lot of teenage girls come in and their parents have shared with me that previous to coming in that they were suicidal. I had a parent come in and do an intro the day after their daughter had gotten out of the hospital. And this has been several years back, but she was just so happy. And they were like, we haven't seen her this happy in a very long time.
Wow.
And we've experienced many things like that where jiu-jitsu has really, it's cliche, but kind of really saved their lives.
Oh, totally. I can totally see that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's good, like you said, from the community standpoint, from the physical, like stress reliever standpoint, I think jiu-jitsu can be very important from a mental health standpoint.
Definitely. And as much as we do love jiu-jitsu, please remember it is not a substitute for working with a mental health professional.
Okay, so the next question is older grapplers. I feel targeted in this. Yeah.
What? I mean, I just turned 50. What?
I'm 42.
How do I feel about older grapplers? Get off my lawn.
I don't know exactly what the question is. It just said older grapplers. But I think one of the most important things is that recovery is important.
Yes.
You have to take care of your body. You have to know when to rest, when to stop.
Yes.
How hard you can push yourself, and when it's time to take a break.
Yes. And if you need to rewind back to the question that we answered about ego, start there.
Exactly. Give yourself some grace. You know, you can't expect yourself to be on an even playing field with somebody half your age.
Right.
You just can't.
No. The nice thing about that too, though, is being older is that since I train with so many women that are half my age or somewhere in between, I feel super prepared when I can actually go into a competition and there's someone even close to my age range or size. I feel really well prepared when I go in. And it's also a really good gauge for me to kind of test, am I keeping up? And I kind of had to work through a little head trash of, I do belong, I can keep up, and it's like, it doesn't matter,
Yeah. And that happens. We all get a little head trash of like, I mean, I have some head trash that, I'm a 42-year-old female teaching men in their 20s. Do I have something to offer those guys? There was, I had a lot of head trash about it, and I was really struggling the Thursday before the Fuji. That was just before my birthday, and my back was super flared up, and I wasn't rolling that night, and it was just, I was just really like in my feelings about, can I do this? Right? Am I providing value for these people? And then on Saturday at the competition, I was like, I'm a dang good coach. I mean, really.
Yeah, for sure.
I just really felt like I know that I've provided value for these guys, men and women, all ages. Yeah. But you could see it. You could see them together as a team. You could see them helping each other out. You could see them listening to my coaching and, doing the things I'm saying and winning their matches, or, losing with grace, or trying so hard, whether they won or lost. And just at the end of it, I was like, yeah, I absolutely provide value to these guys. It doesn't matter that I'm older. Doesn't matter that I'm female. And, I don't want to be ageist or sexist or anything like that, but sometimes we just get in our head about that kind of stuff. Totally. It's hard not to.
Yeah.
But I know that my team is better for having me as their coach.
Well, it's also helpful too to see somebody actually doing the thing that you're telling us to do. Like if you're injured, don't roll.
Yeah.
You can still come, you can still take notes, you can still watch. Just, again, ego, recognizing that. I do think that's a gift of age, is that I feel better about mine, and then other people's egos, I'm like, I don't care. Bless your heart.
Yeah. Like, you're fine. You can feel that way. I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's what, I've heard my whole life is, you get in your 40s and you get this like, I don't care as much what you think about me type mentality.
Wait till you hit 50.
It's like, gone. Don't care. Thank goodness, because, I'm at a time in my life where I need to not care about what people think about me. So this is helpful. But yeah, I think that we can all, we all deal with that head trash, but it's head trash. It's just trash. That's what it is.
Trash.
Take the trash out. Yep. Take the trash out.
Perfect.
Throw it away. That's what you do with trash, guys. Okay, so this person said that sometimes they practice techniques poorly. They do bad technique because they don't want to put too much pressure on their partner. And then when it's time for live rolling, they're doing a bad job. Okay. So I think the bottom line is you have to practice the techniques correctly. Like, I know you don't want to smash your partner. I know you don't want to like murder them for the whole time you guys are drilling, but it's important that they feel how that is supposed to feel. It's part of being a good rolling and drilling partner. Like, if they get out into a competition and have never felt that pressure before or never felt knee on belly properly, they're going to freak out. They're going to fail at that because you didn't practice it. So that, that's part of being a good partner, is actually doing the technique correctly, so that eventually they can learn how to defend it correctly, or be able to escape it correctly, or, just withstand it.
Right.
I know that it sucks, but like, it's making us better. It's making us better to like feel that pressure. And then when you get out in a live roll or in competition and you feel somebody's pressure, you can go, psh, this is nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I've done this way worse in class, right?
Exactly.
So I think it's important to, do it correctly, have good pressure. I know you're not hurting them. You're making them suffer a little bit. Yeah. But that's part of it. Like, jiu-jitsu is uncomfortable. So you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Both as the person putting pressure on and the person under pressure. Under pressure.
Perfect. Well, I think the other thing too is some of that's maybe on you then to say, you can give me more pressure. I know even when when Jennifer and I are drilling things, we'll say, okay, fight me a little bit on this, or, give me more pressure, like whatever that is.
Yeah.
I think that's that's just that good communication of being a good drilling partner or training partner.
Yeah. And sometimes, like, let's say we're doing heavy shoulder pressure stuff. If your partner has like a hurt neck or something, like, use your words, say, hey, my neck's hurting really bad. Like, if you want to drill somebody else, that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But like, you can't pressure my neck like that. Okay, fine. But if like we're good and we can do it, then, like, maybe you do it, like, do a systems check. Like, is this good? Is this pressure good? Like, tightening everything up. Okay, that's good. Now I can loosen up a little bit to do the technique.
Yeah.
But you've felt how it feels to have good, solid pressure. So somebody on Instagram also asked us the difference between sport jiu-jitsu and self-defense. In a way, they go hand in hand. So we talk about it before, like, the intro that I teach is self-defense based. But that doesn't mean that it's not the exact same thing that I would do in competition or in class or anything like that. I'm teaching some stuff from guard. I do like a Kimura. I do a guillotine. I do a sit-up sweep. I talk about why it's good for self-defense. I talk about why it's good for jiu-jitsu. But like, complete self-defense has some striking and, blocking strikes and stuff like that. Some ability to escape. In jiu-jitsu, like, if we're talking sport jiu-jitsu, you're not running away.
No.
In self-defense, you are.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I'm getting
I mean,
out
if you
of
can
there.
get out, that's the first choice.
Yeah.
Right? It would be, hide, flee, fight. Like, those are that's how you want to go here. If you can get away, get away. If you can't get away, then you hide. If you can't hide, then you have to fight. And if you can fight for a moment and then flee, great. Like, that's more what self-defense is. For jiu-jitsu, we're not running away. You're in the fight. I think that would be what I would say is the biggest difference. Obviously, there's going to be some things that we like open up ourselves to in regular jiu-jitsu that we wouldn't in a self-defense scenario. I think both are important. I think jiu-jitsu itself teaches us good body mechanics. It teaches us how to fight a bigger and stronger opponent. And it teaches us the confidence, which is important. In class, I talk a lot about how jiu-jitsu and self-defense are related in that you have to know your surroundings, right? You have to have good awareness, which is how we don't run into each other. And if they run into each other in a roll, like I have a rule at my school. If you kick somebody in the head, like, if you and I are rolling and we kick somebody else that's another pair, you and I both are building a house for the entire next round. And it seems silly, but like, one, it is our job to protect our training partners, which is still that other, couple on the mat. And also self-awareness or, situational awareness, your surroundings, that's part of it. You have to know that. And you have to know that in a competition, like there are boundaries. Like the mat's only so big. So if you go outside that space, you can be penalized. You could eventually be DQ'd. You can lose points, whatever that looks like, but you have to know your surroundings. So I think, there's a lot of ways that jiu-jitsu and self-defense cross over, but neither one is complete to the other.
I've found that, I just got back from a podcasting conference, and so it's first time I've flown, first time I've been around like a relatively large group of people, and I felt like I was definitely more aware just because of doing jiu-jitsu, like knowing where the exits are and that kind of stuff, and just kind of seeing who's around. Yeah, for sure.
It's good. It's important. It's fun to play those little keep in mind games. We used to play them with our nephews. Like we'd go to a restaurant and I'd be like, close your eyes. How many people are in the room? Or like, tell me where the exits are. Or, where's the guy in the red shirt? Whatever, just to see if they could pay attention to their surroundings and be able to point things out like that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Our last question is how to have the best hair. I don't think I can answer this question yet. I'm still learning how to do my new hair, so it's still a work in progress. But you, Jen, have glorious hair.
Thank you. All right, the secret to this hair, which has not been done today, and it's just after jiu-jitsu class, sexy hair texturizing paste. 2 on the shine, 8 on the hold.
Nice. Very nice. I'll have to get that.
I think they need to sponsor us now.
Ooh, yes. Great. Done with all the questions. I'm so pleased by that. I hope that this turned out well on Instagram because we didn't watch them before we posted them. And
We're living on the edge.
Turns out great on the podcast, though we have an amazing editor, so I'm sure that it will.
Okay, on and off the mat tips for this week.
Well, your off the mat tip is definitely to follow us on Instagram.
Yes, if you haven't already.
Exactly. Like follow along, ask questions when you have them. And we actually get questions all the time that we don't make part of a podcast. So if you have any like private questions, like we get asked about, competition and ranking and, coaches and teammates and how to deal with all kinds of different stuff. So we're happy to help be your guides through that if you would like to ask us any questions there.
Yeah. Or just hang out with us.
Exactly. Where can they find us?
Well, they can find us on Instagram at Beauty and the Gi Podcast, and I am hanging out there at Brassy Broad Jen.
And I'm AJ Klingerman. Everywhere you go.
And we also have the Beauty and the Gi Gang Facebook group. So I'd say we're probably on Instagram way more, though.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
Instagram is your jam.
It is. Totally. It is my jam. Okay, AJ, what's your on the mat tip for this week?
I think the on the mat tip this week should just be check your ego, check your head trash.
Yeah.
Take out the trash. And, listen to your body, be a good training partner, just wrap it all up in that.
Or just listen to this episode again.
I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Share it with a friend.
Yes, if you know someone that could benefit from hearing this, and really that's like the best way to help us grow this audience.
Absolutely.
Is share it with a friend, post on Instagram with what you're listening and tag us, and then we'll reshare that.
Yeah. If you're listening on like Spotify, you can easily share that to Instagram.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we would love that.
Yes, we would appreciate that very much.
This podcast has been brought to you by Role Model Grappling. We have our Costa Rica event coming up in February. We still have some spots for that. So if you're interested, please get on the website, which is rolemodelswanted.com. And that is ROLL because we do jiu-jitsu.
Thanks for listening, and we will see you on the mat.